Okay, dear students, we continue talking about teaching methods. We use inside the classrooms. Now we come to communicative language teaching, or CLT. Communicative language teaching is a strategy that aims to achieve communicative rather than linguistic competence through interaction. So we need to see or to make sure that the students can use the language they study inside the classroom in their daily life when they communicate. So every time that in the classroom, that the main focus is on how the students can communicate using the language. This is a communicative approach or method. So it is used for interacting with others. So students practice expressing ideas, sharing options, solving problems, and understanding messages from other speakers. Grammar and accuracy are still important, but they are taught as tools that support communication, not as the main goal as in grammar translation method. Grammar is taught in the communicative approach or language teaching method is when it is just to help in the purpose of communication. When they send messages, when they interact, and these all things. The teacher's role in communicative language teaching is to facilitate communication. This one nowadays in the modern teaching methods, we call them facilitators. Teachers work as facilitators. They are there to facilitate, to make communication easy for the students or for the learners, by guiding the learners and create opportunities for interaction. So while learners take an active role in using language learning. What are the key features of this communicative language teaching? Meaning focus activities. Activities focus on what students want to say. For example, students discuss their favorite hobbies instead of completing grammar drills. So as you can see, it's like not a grammar translation method. Pair and group work. Students work in pairs or in small groups. For example, two students role play a customer and a shop assistant, for example, or a teacher and a student, or a doctor and a patient. Authentic materials. They use real life materials such as menus, emails, advertisements, videos, and news articles, and so on. For example, students read a restaurant menu and order food. Fluent over accuracy. The priority in communicative language teaching is effective communication. For example, the student speaks fluently but makes minor grammar mistakes. Communication is still successful. What are the strengths of communicative language teaching? It develops communicative competence. It encourages learners' interaction, student-centered approach. What are the limitations of this communicative language teaching? Grammar accuracy may be neglected. They do not focus mainly on grammar and how to use grammatical rules and all these things, unless they help in communication. Challenging in large classes. There are so many large classes, and such methodology cannot be applied successfully or effectively in such large classes. Requires trained teachers. They need trained teachers where they are well trained to use such kind of methodologies. Okay, so you can do these activities. Activities and exercise. They are all about communicative language teaching. Language skills practice. Speaking role play dialogues. This is how you can do it. Listening, understanding, partners request, functional language, polite expressions, making requests, follow up. All these are activities. You need to practice all these things using authentic material and so on. Now we come task-based language teaching. We came across it, but we need to go deeper. Task-based teaching, TBLT, is an approach to language teaching that emphasizes using language to complete meaningful tasks. Using a language to complete a task, rather than studying grammatical forms in isolation, like in grammar translation method. In task-based language learning or teaching, learners acquire language through communication. They acquire language through communication, problem solving, and collaboration. So language is seen as a tool for achieving goals, not as end of not as an end in itself. So learners first focus on meaning and successful task completion, and then later reflect on the language forms they used. This mirrors how language is used in real life. What are the key features of task-based language teaching? A task is given where learners use language to achieve a clear outcome. For example, making a plan. You give them, today we are going to know how to make a plan, solving a problem, or reaching a decision. Tasks have goal. Every task has goals, input, procedure, and output. There is a task, there is a goal beyond that task, there is an input of that task, there is a procedure you follow to do that task, and there is an end or outcome of that task. Success is measured by task completion. When the students complete the task, and then this is considered as a success of doing the task, not accuracy alone. Real world relevance. How this is relevant to the real world or daily life. Tasks are based on real life situation. For example, planning trips, and then you tell the student how to plan a trip, ordering food, solving community problems, conducting interviews. This increases motivation and show learners how English is used outside the classroom. So you link the students with what they can do in their daily life by giving them a certain task, and then you build the whole language components around that task. How they use it, the vocabulary they use, the goal of it, and how they can follow in order to achieve that goal, and so on and so forth. It focuses on meaning first, form later. Grammar correction is delayed. You do not correct them their grammar while they are doing their task. After the task, the teacher highlights useful language forms that emerge naturally. So in the end, after they complete the task, you come and tell them about this and that to correct their minor grammar mistakes, not when they are doing the task. What are the strengths of task-based language teaching? Learners are active participants. They participate through the whole entire process. Tasks encourage interaction and collaboration. Motivation increases because tasks feel purposeful. Encourages problem solving. Learners analyze information. They negotiate meaning and make decisions. Critical thinking skills are developed alongside language skills. They use the language naturally. Learners use language spontaneously. They don't think about what is right and what is wrong. Communication resembles real life language use. Fluency develops naturally. They start developing their fluency, the students I mean, or the learners. What are the difficulties to assess? It is very difficult to assess this kind of methodologies. Measuring language of development can be challenging. Assessment often focuses on task outcome rather than accuracy, whether the student did the task effectively or not. It needs careful task design. You need to design the task carefully, considering the students. Poorly designed tasks may lead to confusion. Tasks must match learners' proficiency level. Do not give the students a task which is not beyond their level. Then you need to do these activities. Task cycle. We start with the task, teacher role to do the topic, class trips for example, provide useful vocabulary for it, transport, budget, schedule, what they can do, food, stuffs and sceneries and whatever. Show a short model or example. Then this exercise about brief task. Match words with meaning. Let's go to during the task. Students' role, working groups, discuss ideas, make decisions using English, focus on meaning, not grammar accuracy. Teacher role here, observe. Take notes of language used, avoid interrupting communication. Do not interrupt them while they are doing the task. After the task, students identify language forms used during the task. Now you can do these activities. You can do all these activities. Okay. Thank you very much, and this is the end of our lectures today. Let's go back and try to find out the methodologies of teaching and what we can use inside the classroom. I'd like you, dear students, to focus mainly on these methodologies and on these techniques that we use inside the classroom, so that they can help you a lot to do your classes appropriately and purposefully. Thank you very much, and see you next lecture, inshallah.